Good morning, my people. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. I'm just going to go over a trade that a member has put into the group. So it was a GU trade, and obviously, reason for trade was a 1 minute market flip, SBS area of interest. So this is what price looked like on the higher time frame. You obviously had your one, two, three, swept, 4, 5, and then it looks like we had an internal flip. Um, and he's now tried to take a trade, potential on a lower time frame, and it hasn't worked out, and he's now been stopped out. So let me just move that to the side, moment, and then on the lower time frame, and this is what it looks like, where price tapped his area of interest. It looks like he tried to take a trade based off the SMA, and obviously he's now been stopped out. So let's now dive in and see what he could have done better, etc., etc. So this is where he had his area marked up, but if you just zoom up for a hot second, it was clear. Well, I'll go to my 1 hour chart first. So when I go to my 1 hour time frame, price is clearly bearish based off the SMA, but also based off structure because we have actually taken out these lows, or these lows if you want to be a bit more precise. So we are bearish based off our higher time frame. If I use my 15 minute as my higher time frame, then price is also bearish based off my 15 minute, and within that I could say that this is my example, my protected high, this is my weak low. So right now potentially price is in that pullback leg where it wants to tap into something and then start making it sway back down. So if you want to trade that pullback, that's completely fine. However, not the higher, the better setups will be when you trade with the continuation, because remember the trend is your friend, and your higher time frame is also your friend. So when you go back down to the 5 minute, this is the area that he actually picked. And if I just zoom out, it was clear that price was making lower lows and lower highs, and then now it looks like we're making higher highs and higher lows. So first and foremost, we need to check if this is a validated zone. This candle is a swing high, this candle is higher than the one to the left and then the one to the right. This candle is not contained within this candle's wicks. We've closed below it first before taking out the high. So I understand that this is a real market structure break. I will more say this is more of a supply and demand zone, because we don't have a lot of candles that have been distributed. However, the minute you go down to lower time frames, then you do have what's it called? A lot of candles that does get distributed. Um, so yeah, so this is what he had at the time. And then if I'm not mistaken, then 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. So he had his SPS as 1, 2, 3. Price payout. Okay, so we've got the first sweep. So this will be my 2. This is now my 4. So now potentially I could start to look for trades to potentially get me in. If I draw a fit from this low to this high, we have tapped we have mitigated 50%, but we haven't quite tapped the 618, and we haven't also mitigated the zone that the original zone that we've actually come from. So let me just go to the 1 minute. So when we go to the 1 minute, technically we was making a high, higher high. Now I made it higher, lower low. So technically we need to take out this high before we flipped, but internally you could say that if you take out this high, then that means we flipped. So let's let price play out. So we've now flipped, but remember I always saying never trust the first flip. You always just want to be careful with the first flip, especially when it's internal structure. And obviously if you just let price play out, look, price dumps, which is completely fine. But now it's like this, and now price needs to take out this high. And then if I let price play out, okay, so we had a pullback, failed to take out these lows, but now internally we flip bullish. So internally we've now flipped bullish, especially after how we failed to take out these lows. But we are below the SMA, and if I just let price play out, okay, so now we've taken out this high, but this could be very subjective. But for me, that's just how I'll do it. Then we have this area here. Let's see how we play out. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where he entered, right? If I'm not mistaken, this is where he entered. I don't think he entered off CS. I don't think it was a CSS he entered off. Or maybe he did. And then this is where he got stopped out. Okay. Okay, so to be fair, if you just look back, technically this was a protected high. This is the weak low, so let me just mark it out. And then this is the high that you like for price to run, and then technically we have flipped. Obviously internally we were also bullish, which was fine, but we was below the SMA. And then when we actually went above, once we closed above that was a flip. So remember how I was saying never trust the first flip, but to be fair, that trade that the guy took was a good trade. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest, there was nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with that. Honestly, there was genuinely nothing wrong with that. So yeah, sometimes price just wants to mitigate deeper, from the slow to the high. Again, we don't quite tap 618, but we tapped to 50%. So it's still the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or this could be a 4 and 5, because low, and then look, you see that? So that could have been you out, but you also understand that potentially price could have come back to mitigate this. And also to let price play out. That's the current market. So honestly, bro, the trade that you took, honestly, bro, there was nothing wrong with it. Um, yeah, honestly, bro, there's nothing wrong with it, because you could easily say that this was your area here. Could have even had this area here. So honestly, bro, nothing wrong with it whatsoever. I'll just say he was a little bit unlucky. Um, but like the only thing I'll probably say is obviously that first flip. So once we've gone below, high, lower, low, we flipped higher. That first flip doesn't always confirm price is gonna push. Hence, I always say wait for a confirmed market structure break, and then you start to look to get in. But again, like the SMA flipped. So, bro, honestly, it was a good trade. You just got unlucky. Sometimes these things are gonna happen, bro, and you just have to accept it, take it on the chin, and just what's it called? Keep moving forward. That's it, to be honest, bro. Um, and even if you looked at things from even if you looked at things from 5 minutes, the 5 minute time frame, then if you put your fib from this low to this high, you've already hit the 1 to 1. So obviously you enter there, stop below the protected low. Your 1 to 1 has now been hit. You can move the stop to break even now, and then you could either wait for price to hit your take profit too. You could take out some partials, etc., depending on what you want. But that could also been your other way to potentially get in, as price was above the 200 SMA. That's it for it. That's it from me today, bro. Again, like if I look back, even yeah. So when I look back, bro, there was necessarily you didn't do anything necessarily wrong. Everything that you done was correct. The only thing I say is the first flip doesn't always confirm that price wants to go higher. We could also say that at the time, price might want to mitigate something a little bit lower, because remember, we still have all of this that could get mitigated before we start pushing back up. And even that internal flip, or that lower time frame flip, there's always a possibility. Is that higher? Yeah, there's always a possibility that it will be like this, where this is your 1, that's your 2, this is your 3, price sweeps this, 4, 5. Price ends up coming back to sweep this. Then we might tap into, this area here. And then we start pushing higher. Because again, like if you see, this area is unmitigated, and someone might even have this as an SPS. 1, 2, 3, and obviously look for 4 and 5. So again, bro, you didn't really do anything wrong there. You saw the setup, you traded the setup, it didn't go your way, and sometimes these things are going to happen. Yeah, bro. For me, there I'll probably say well done, because you've done nothing wrong there. Everything that you've done was good. So I can't fault you there, bro. But yeah, that's it from me today, bro. I'll see you whenever I see you guys, bro. Ciao.